All right, let's get into it. Today, we're taking a look at a really cool piece from HastingsNow.com. We're going to start with what's happening right now in Hastings, Minnesota. And as you can see, it looks beautiful. But that beauty is definitely hiding a pretty serious cold snap.
You know, if you were to look out over the Mississippi River in Hastings today, you'd think, wow, what a perfect postcard. It's sunny, it's gorgeous. But the source puts it perfectly. The sun is doing that classic Minnesota thing of smiling while delivering maximum cold. It's a tricky one, right? The view from your warm window is practically begging you to come outside into what is, in reality, a seriously cold day.
So just how cold are we talking? Well, here's the number that tells the whole story. The wind chill is dropping all the way down to negative 38 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's not just chilly. That is a genuine weather barrier. It's the kind of cold that makes you rethink your entire day.
And it's really interesting when you see how the official data breaks this all down. The actual temperature in the air, it's not getting any warmer than negative 8 degrees. But then you add that wind whipping in from the west-northwest, and suddenly you get that feels-like temperature of negative 38. And that, right there, is why there's an extreme cold warning out. It's a serious 1-2 punch.
I absolutely love how the source translates all this weather data into what it actually feels like. They describe the morning as having, "Why is my face doing that?" levels of cold. I mean, how perfect is that? We've all been there. The afternoon stays sunny, but bitter cold, and then the clouds are going to start rolling in overnight, just as the temperature dips even lower.
Okay, so the big question is, how do you even deal with a day like this safely? Well, the advice is pretty simple, but it is so important. First things first, cover up every single bit of exposed skin. Don't mess around. Second, if you have to go outside, keep it short. Plan warm-up breaks. And finally, think of your car as your mobile survival kit. Small issues like a dead phone can become huge problems really fast in this kind of cold.
And for a little bit of fun, the source gives us this great weather joke. At negative 38 degrees Fahrenheit wind chill, even the bridge over the river is thinking, let's all just stay connected emotionally today. It's a good line, right? But it's also the perfect pivot for us because it gets us thinking about our big theme today, connection.
Think about it. This extreme cold feels like a real physical barrier. It separates us, it keeps us all inside. And that joke about the bridge connects perfectly to another fantastic feature in the Hastings Now report, their On This Date section. It gets you wondering, on this exact date, January 23rd, all throughout history, how have we humans managed to break through barriers and create new connections?
And you won't believe it, but on this one single day in history, we've got 3 amazing examples. In 1855, we crossed a physical barrier. In 1960, we broke through a new frontier of exploration. And in 1964, we tore down a civic barrier. Every single one is a story about connection winning out over separation.
So let's start with that physical connection. Back in 1855, the Father Louis Hennepin Suspension Bridge opened up. This was a huge deal. It was the very first bridge to span the entire Mississippi River. For river towns just like Hastings, this wasn't just some new road, it was a total game changer, a lifeline connecting people, communities, and business like never before.
Next up, a civic connection. On this date, in 1964, the 24th Amendment was officially ratified. Now, this amendment outlawed poll taxes, which were basically fees people were charged just to vote, often used to keep African Americans and poorer citizens from having their say. So by getting rid of that financial barrier, it created this powerful new connection between millions of citizens and their democratic right to vote.
And last but not least, a frontier connection. In 1960, this incredible vessel, the bathyscaphe Trieste, dove almost 7 miles down to the Challenger Deep. We're talking about the deepest known point on our planet. It literally broke through the crushing, unimaginable barrier of ocean pressure to connect all of humanity with a part of our world that no one had ever laid eyes on before.
So we've traveled from the deepest trenches of the ocean to the very foundations of American democracy. But let's bring it all back home, back to that freezing cold day in Hastings. The article ends its advice with a simple but really powerful idea. If this helped, share it with a neighbor. And that little sentence reminds us that connection isn't just about massive bridges or historic laws. It's also about the small things we do for each other every single day.
Which really just leaves us with this one final thought. The cold might feel like a barrier, but today's history lesson shows us we are, by nature, barrier breakers. So in a town built on crossing rivers and toughing out the cold, what connection, whether it's big or small, are you going to make today?